Hello everyone. I've been meaning to do this for quite a long time and I just haven't got round to it, but here's a wee video of Belfast really. I'm hoping to do several videos maybe from different kind of tourist sites all over the city. Might do the Titanic, might do City Hall and stuff. Where I am now is at the Peace Wall, or one of the Peace Walls in Belfast. If anybody knows the history of the sectarian nature of the city and knows much about the colonial occupation of Ireland for over 800 years by the British military, financial and governmental institutions, we live in a divided city which is one half pro-British and one half pro-Irish. So I'm going to walk along here and you'll see the wall in the background. Now just here at the very top of the wall, it is probably about, I'd say, 12 foot high with some spiked spiralet type of kind of anti-vandalism, anti-climb proof structures. As we get further down, you're going to see this is a lot bigger. This particular wall is nearly a mile long, which divides Protestant pro-British West Belfast from Catholic pro-Irish West Belfast. That would be the Shankill Road and the Falls Road respectively. But I'm not really here to talk about the sectarianism of Belfast and Britain's continued occupation of our country. I'm going to do a wee kind of political commentary on what is happening in Ukraine, as we're just hitting the first year anniversary of the special military operation in eastern Ukraine. I've been to Donbass on several occasions. I have friends in both the former republics of Lugansk and Donetsk, who are now fully fledged members of the Russian Federation. And you'll see that there's loads of people you'll see in the background from time to time, because these tours of Belfast are very popular because it's living history. You see some people behind me, you see the black taxi potentially across the road there in the background. So I don't know what the recording's like because of the wind. It's a lovely sunny day here. We've got beautiful blue skies, if you can see them in the background. Here's another, actually it might be a better look at the wall just as we go down, but I'm not going to continue walking backwards. Anyway, I want to talk about eastern Ukraine, Donbass and the Russian special military operation. I haven't been there, haven't witnessed on the ground what was happening in and around 2018. I have a fairly comprehensive knowledge of what was going on when we find out that the likes of Merkel and Macron were complicit in the lies of the Minsk I, Minsk II agreements in 2014 and 2015, which were designed to bring peace to the Donbass region. The fact that those people have lied privately, lied politically and lied publicly to the people of Western Europe and Russia, while they rearmed and refinanced and reorganised and retrained the fascists from the 2014 Maidan Square coup, when they put 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 troops on the eastern Donbass border and increased the horrendous shelling of civilian areas, which up to that date in February 2022 had taken the lives of over 14,000 civilians. Putin, the Russian Federation, the Duma, the Russian army had absolutely no option but to intervene and potentially save and protect the lives of the Russian-speaking, Orthodox worshipping Russians in eastern Donbass. You just see one of the many tour buses now. 20 years ago you'd hardly seen a tourist in Belfast, and now you can hardly see anybody but tourists. And considering this is February and the buses, well, not that many people on it, but late enough in the day. There was plenty of buses going from 10 o'clock this morning on to 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. So back to the Donbass. The special military operation was to denazify the Ukraine and prevent America and NATO from putting nuclear weapons on the de facto on the Russian border within minutes of taking out the Kremlin, the Russian capital, St. Petersburg, you name a city in Russia, and it came within in minutes of obliteration. So Putin sent the troops in, but remember this coup in 2014 by Victoria Nuland, our friend Uncle Joe Biden and Obama. This was an American-inspired coup because the democratically elected government at that time in the Ukraine didn't want to join the EU, didn't want to join NATO, wanted to remain neutral, which would have been their best policy, and then would have been friends with both the West and the East, with the EU and with Russia. They couldn't have been in a better position. So you had the coup, you had the fascists installed, you had Poroshenko in place, followed by Zelensky. Now Zelensky was elected in and around, I think it was 2018, 2019, on a platform where he told the people of Ukraine that he would bring peace and bring security and bring eastern Ukraine, the Donbass, actually Crimea, back into the Ukrainian fold as maybe autonomous regions with their own kind of autonomous elected legislatures and possibly a federalised Ukraine. Now, like many politicians, he told the people what they wanted to hear because the people in Ukraine wanted peace. He's a consummate liar. As soon as he got in there, and he probably on drugs. There are lots and lots and lots of anecdotal evidence that the man may be hooked on cocaine. You see some of his performances and rubbing his nose and sniffing and all types of stuff that would be associated with that kind of addiction. He promised peace, and along with Biden and Nuland and Blinken, he has brought war to the Ukrainian population who elected him as their leader. There's something like 200 or 300,000 dead Ukrainian soldiers, the same if not more injured. He's prepared to fight to the last Ukrainian and the last American dollar in order to line his pockets, would be my opinion of what's going on. I'm just going to turn the camera around a wee bit so that you can maybe see in totality. There's this wall here. Now, as I say, this is a peace wall. This is over a mile long or a mile and a half long, separating the two communities. You have the pro-British colonists and the pro-Irish indigenous people. But if I turn the camera around just for a second, right, maybe not. I was going to show you, I can see the cranes of Harlan and Wolff in the background, but I'll maybe just swing the camera around so you can have a look at it. So, I don't know what the Russian dead are. People talk about 50 or 60,000 Russian soldiers. But the Russian special military operation might very well end when they liberate the Donbass from these fascist Azov right sector thugs and monsters. The Russians might very well stop, but I don't think America will let the Ukrainians stop. I think even if the Dnieper River becomes a de facto physical natural barrier between the two opposing sides, I still think what we will have is America, the EU, NATO and others arming and rearming again the Ukrainians while they send in more Polish troops, more mercenaries. In fact, I heard an Austrian military official was asked, how could Austrians possibly get involved in the war in Ukraine, considering that they need NATO-trained operatives to work the tanks and the HIMARS and the sophisticated Western technology. He simply said, take off your Austrian uniform. I think it was Austria, might have been Norway. I think it was Norway actually. Take off your uniform, sign a contract with the Ukrainian armed forces. Hey presto, you're no longer a member of the Norwegian forces. You're now a member of the Ukrainian forces. You are not seen necessarily to be an undercover NATO operative helping murder civilians in Donbass. You're seen to be a paid professional soldier under contract to the Ukrainian armed forces. So Russia might stop the special military operation, but I think they will. America, NATO, and that whole cabal will continue to bomb both Donetsk, Lugansk, wherever they can from the other side of the river, and the Russians may well be forced to then go further and further and further into the Ukraine, which could eventually lead to, say, partial annexation of part of western Ukraine by Poland, or possibly what you could then have is a false flag attack on some form of Polish infrastructure. Hey presto, Poland joins the war, and you've gone from 600,000, 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers attacking the people of Donbass and the eastern Ukraine, who are supported by the Russian military and a private Wagner group. You could very well find this drip feeding of arms and material and men into the war zone. America is going to sit in the background, NATO is going to sit in the background, the EU is going to sit in the background, and they are going to very slowly keep the war going using now potentially 600,000 Polish soldiers, NATO trained, and they've actually just doubled their complement from 300,000 to 600,000. So it's only one possibility, but there is a genuine possibility that they will end up putting the Polish troops into the battlefield and slowly, literally, physically bleeding out the Russian army bit by bit. Men, resources, ammunition, medical services, the whole shebang. So I want to stop here. This is the end of the wall. I'll just swing round here. Okay. On my right, just past this cross as the wall goes down the corner, that's the Falls Road. And if I just swing round directly behind me, you see this big long road that takes you onto the Shankill Road. This is kind of a wee bit of a no man's land here in the background, and I'm just going to walk back up the road, and I might see just, there's maybe 12 minutes of video. I don't want to do too long, I don't want to bore people, but I'll walk backwards again for 10 minutes. But this is the wall, and people from all over the world who come here on holiday sign this wall. I might read out one or two of the comments as we go along. Try to show you the height of the wall. The wall in some places, you can see this behind me, is probably 30 to 40 feet. The idea is that you can't throw bottles, bricks, projectiles, petrol bombs, and any pipe bombs and anything else potentially over the wall, which has happened many times during the course of the conflict here. The source of the conflict here being the British continued military occupation of Ireland, ongoing for 800 years. The Palestinians have been under the cause of Israeli racism and fascism from probably the 1920s, prior to the birth of Israel in Palestinian bloodshed as a terrorist country in 1940. It expanded in 1967, and continuing with the illegal occupation in the Golan Heights, the West Bank, siege of Gaza, etc., etc. But this is our misnomer of the peace wall. It's called the peace wall when in fact it doesn't really keep out the peace, it just stops people from attacking each other. So I'll read out a few of the things here. Just says Alexandre, Tirza was here, Dale, Kaylee Graham 20, Katie Black, Peace and Love JJ 2023, Hope. These walls have parallels in, where are they? Well, there's obviously in Palestine with a huge wall there, probably built on this, the wall in America that they're now trying to build in order to keep the people that they've subjugated, murdered and oppressed in Latin America from coming to America. All them sanctions that are killing people in South America are forcing the people there to flee to North America. And they have their wall, or Trump's wall, in order to stop that. And I believe there's a wall somewhere in Cyprus between the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots. So all very much the same idea, unfortunately. Just proves that people side by side with different political orientations. Can't look at that. So peace and love is the way. Freedom for Palestine, very nice. Bob XX 2022. All we need is love. We are all one. Melinda Harris. Acne is okay. There you go. What else is that? You're Enough. Sophia McAllister 2022 in honour of Grandma St Mary, it looks like. Love is the only way. Elizabeth Montreal 3rd of August 2022. Kim Boston 2022. Naila Iman Adneen Kenza Latifa. Probably, I don't know whether or not you can see this, but this is all this is what people have written on the wall. It's probably upside down at back to front because of the camera. So that's really us. I suppose I could say more, but I am not going to. Just some of the graffiti, some of the stupid things people put up on the wall. Some people have obviously more time on their hands and they have common sense. They'll be putting this up. Here we go. So there's the wall, as I say, 30 to 40 feet high. It's called a peace wall, but it's a misnomer because it doesn't keep the peace. All it does is separate the two communities. Once upon a time, on the far side of the road, which is now all housing, this was all derelict and no man's land. And people used to put bonfires here on the 12th of July to celebrate the Protestant victory of Prince William of Orange over the Catholic Scottish King, King James, in 1690, as if I could forget that particular date. So the pro-British Protestant loyalist elements celebrate the 12th of July. Sometimes you just have a big bonfire here in the middle of the street and you used to burn the place down. And now, as I say, what would we say, the peace process was signed in Belfast Agreement, Good Friday Agreement, signed in 1998. We're now in 2023, so that is 25 years. But again, it's the peace is only on the surface, you know. We're not saying the violence would like kind of restart any time, but there's always a sectarian undercurrent in this city. You possibly say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time and find yourself in a bit of hot water, as they say. But this is the first of these videos I'm going to put up. As I say, I'm going to do the Titanic. I'll probably do the International Wall. I hope you enjoy it. That's it. I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel, so hopefully you might subscribe to it. And if you're not interested in the politics, you could possibly be interested in the scenery and the kind of political history of Belfast, north of Ireland, sectarian nature of the city, which hasn't changed. I'm going to keep chatting here for a wee minute because just as we go up here, we can see like a few flags that are fluttering in the breeze. It's a Scottish flag and the Northern Ireland flag, which is basically the English flag with the round hand of Ulster in the middle. I don't know if you can see them. Might be far enough forward. Let's have another wee look in another wee second. We'll just see exactly where we are. Oops. Can't see them flags. By looking closer, I'll see myself. Right, that'll do me. Here's another black taxi doing another tour. This guy's making an absolute fortune. I was going to say a killing there, but it would be the wrong kind of use of language. I am. So, that's me. Look forward to the next one. Please subscribe and share. Thank you. Bye-bye.